early planning is indeed, as we I guess we all believe, that is indeed the cornerstone of a successful career. By planning for their career early, like if a child starts planning his career early, it's very important for them, as they get an opportunity to explore, what their interests are and hobbies to the fullest, and they can also research for all the possible jobs or businesses in their specific field, whatever field they are interested in or they want to, so they can explore all the options available for them. So the formative years of schooling give the best room to delve into all possible opportunities out there. So we believe that the formative years, if a child, it gives a child a lot of time, a very good space, so that he can really search out all the possible opportunities for him. So, but whereas if he does not do that, if not planned early, the student might miss out on exploring possibilities and choices available in the catalog of various subjects and their following scopes. So yes, we believe that if a child does not start planning very early, he might miss out on many opportunities, many possibilities that a particular catalog of various subjects presents to him. So various subjects and streams, they provide a catalog of, or a bunch or a basket of various subjects and its combinations, which may lead the child to a particular career that he desires. So students, I guess, should be guided to be very goal oriented and to know the desirable paths of their careers, so that they can settle into a very interesting and a very lucrative career after, successfully completing whatever is required, like the required degree or the qualifications, or maybe whatever experience they require for it. So yes, so career options in abundance. So yes, what happens is, when we tell to a child that, okay, these many things are there that you can do, but so many options and looking at so many things in abundance can make a child very volatile, and very indecisive when it comes to taking decisions for their careers. This gives gravity. So this does give a lot of gravity to the need of effective career guidance. This can actively be provided by people. So this can be done by two people, like maybe people who are very closely of a very closely observed environment, like the teachers or the parents, because the students stay with the parents, and they spend a very significant amount of time with the teachers, or professionals like career coaches or career counselors. So, looking forward to that, in our panel today, we have a distinguished and a dedicated teacher, a very dynamic and a young psychologist and a counselor, an experienced parent, and an ambitious student. I look forward to a very substantial and a super informative discussion today. I'd like to introduce to all of you, all the audience we have today, to our panel. So we have Miss Rashmi, who is a dedicated educationist and an NHM. She has taught and is still teaching classes of 10th, 11th, and 12th students. So, ma'am, your first-hand experience would be really helpful for us to analyze the lives of students, of an ordinary, a normal student. We can know what he actually does and what the things are. I welcome you, ma'am. So
Thank you.
now
Thank
we
you.
have Ms. Shrishti, a psychologist and a counselor. She takes behavioral trainings and counseling sessions for both students and corporates. I welcome you too. Mr. Vineet Khurana, we have a parent who is himself an engineering and a management graduate with over 2 decades of experience in reputed companies. He has been an active participator in the decision making process of his own children. And I welcome you, sir. And now, at last, I welcome Dhriti, who is an ambitious and outspoken and a very energetic student. She has chosen her career path very effectively and paving her way to great success. So I welcome all of you, and I look forward for a very informative, session for all our audiences, so that whatever we want to achieve and tell the audience, it is we gain that. So. Firstly, I would like to address my first question to Ms. Rashmi. Ma'am, being witnessing a new batch of students every year. So you've witnessed a new batch of students every year. How
Right.
many students in class 10th do you think are clear about what subject they want to select or what they want? What kind of subject do they want?
And as far as what I have been seeing, like from last 18, 20 years, I have been into teaching only. And whenever we see the class 10th batch, I still feel that almost 70 to 80% students, they don't even have a vague idea that what they want to do or what subjects they want for 11th and 12th. We only find the students coming who have very clear ideas. Those either the parents are very concerned, either the parents have been in constantly guiding the students, and very the number is almost negligible. Those who are very clear about their thought that yes, ma'am, I want to pursue commerce or I want to go for science because I want to be this in life or I want to do this in life. So no, I still feel that students are not clear in class 10 what they want to do or what subject they want to take.
Yeah, so the students who aren't really clear, as you tell, there's a lot of students who are not really clear. What do they actually do? Like, what is the course of action they follow for this stream selection? Like, what do they do?
No offenses, but what I feel as a teacher, like what I have looked around is mostly the students go by the parents' choice. They
Okay.
have opted for commerce or for science because Papa has told or Mama has told we should go for this. Their friends are taking the subjects, or maybe the score they have got in class 10. In class
Okay.
10, I have scored good in science, so I want to go for science. The child picks up science or PCM or PCB, whatever, goes with it for a year at times, or maybe less than that, and then he decides, oh God, no, this is something I don't want to do. So that
Yes, yes.
is the problem.
Yes, so students actually believe on their friends' choices or their teachers, whatever the suggestions we get from the teachers or from the parents. So, ma'am, so teachers, when we come down to the point that yes, students do ask their teachers and they do ask them for suggestions, being subject matter specialists, are teachers actually aware of the vast range of options available for the students? So, yes.
Again, the same thing with the teachers also. Like
Uh-huh.
students, few teachers are curious enough to know what is going around, what are the new changes. So might be they'll be able to guide, but no. Most of the teachers though are like limited to the school time. Then again, they'll again suggest the subject according to the weightage of the mark that the child has scored. Acha, yes, acha, bacha, you have scored this much in class 10, you can go for this. But I still feel that every child is unique in his or her own manner, and at times
Yes.
even parents. I am even a parent to my kids are in class 12 and class 8. Even being a parent, at times you are not able to assess the capability or the ability of your child. So
Exactly.
then
Yes.
I feel that I need to consult. Maybe I can go for a certain test, or somebody can tell me, "Yeah, acha, ma'am, your child is good in this, so maybe your child can go for that."
Yes, yes, yes. So yes, so what ma'am tells us is exactly what we agree on, that yes, student teachers cannot alone, or maybe parents, because they're so busy with their own lives and everything. Yes, so they cannot completely counsel a child on what he has to do or what is fit for him. So drawing from that, I have my next question from Shrishti. So because you are a professional of the counseling genre, can you just tell us something, when actually should a student start considering to get a plan ready for his career? So deciding on a stream is a different thing, but when should he actually know that this is the time that I need to start planning?
Okay, now, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on this panel.
You're welcome.
It's such a unique blend of various experts. I mean, like one who's experiencing it, one who's witnessing it, one who's done it, so and one who's fitting into the. Very interesting. Thank you so much for having me.
You're
Apart from
welcome.
that, the age around which one should start reflecting upon their career, I just think that around 10th grade should be a good age to start being aware about where you want to go. Of course, because we oftentimes, I think I've come across so many people who've changed schools because, okay, my school is not offering me science stream with the marks I got in 10th, so let me go to another school which will give me that. they take the science stream and they end up failing in physics or failing in maths, or we see a lot of such cases. I'm sure ma'am has also seen these students, and not to blame them, it's just there's so much pressure. There's something called conformity that we see in society, that okay, where the secure zone is, we need to get there. Commerce, I didn't even, I mean, humanities is out of the question, right? Like
Exactly. Totally out of the question. I believe engineer or a doctor are only the two career choices that we have.
and
Yes, yes,
it's still
indeed.
the case. I feel that, we saw a movie called Three Idiots, and everyone got excited, but it did nothing. It got no change. So definitely, if idealistically we're speaking, if around 10th grade, if around 14 to 16 years of age, we're able to sit down with a student, counsel them, understand them, do a deeper analysis, understand their unique strengths, as well as analyze the unique weaknesses, because everyone has strengths and weaknesses, we will be able to bring out the full potential in the child.
Yes, exactly. So yes, so as said by Shrishti, so I guess yes, this is very true that when a child is 14 to 16, that is the best time to bring out what is his interest or his capabilities or his abilities, what he actually can do, so that which actually leads to a very good career, which gives him happiness and satisfaction apart from a financial support, from a very this only not it's only about not your financial background or anything like that, but it is also about how satisfied or how happy you are with the career. So yes, so that brings me to Mr. Vineet. So we have our next question to you, sir. So can you tell us a little about what your children are doing currently, because you as a parent, we really want to know that what are your children doing right now.
So I am blessed with two kids. Elder one has done engineering and presently he is doing MS. He is abroad. And younger one, he is a MBBS student. He qualified AIMS exam and he is doing AIMS from MBBS from Bhopal AIMS.
Very,
So
very,
both
very
of
nice.
yeah.
So, can you tell us something about your elder son? Like, where is he and what is he doing?
So he is doing MS in computer science from
Yeah.
Chicago, IIT Chicago. He is based abroad.
That's very, very nice. Congratulations to you as a parent, sir. You've done really, really good guidance and support to your children. So, sir, can you just please tell us that when did you actually start thinking about your child's career? Like, how did you analyze? So, when did you actually, start thinking about it? Let's get this question done first. So, when did you actually start thinking about it?
Actually, for me, it started about 20-25 years ago when I did my schooling. Because those were the days when there was no guidance available. You score marks, your goal was either to be an engineer or a government job or a doctor. About 30 years ago, I am taking you back to. So I did engineering. Then what? Chalo, I did MBA also. Then what? There's no goal. You started off with a job and you move on with your life. So those were the times. So when these my kids were growing up, I had a thought, yeah, they shouldn't be confused. They should be allowed to permit what they should. And I have been
Exactly.
a sales guy, so I was traveling a lot. So when my elder one was in seventh, uh, he was in DPS Indore, and the teacher pointed out, sir, he is good in maths and physics. थोड़ा does combination वगैरह, he does sums well. आप क्या प्लान कर रहे हैं? I said, I am not planning anything, but he is too young. He said, okay. 6 महीने बाद then you meet the parent teacher meeting, you meet the same teacher. So he was from a computer background, he had some expert. बोला सर आप ना इस बच्चे को कंप्यूटर पढ़ाना. Now I don't know, my kid is listening to all the discussion and now his interest is building up. Suddenly ninth he is doing well in maths and physics and computers optional subject. So now I'm noticing these changes. Now he's talking about papa bit kya hota, but kids also start showing interest in today's times. So by 10th this boy was talking about पापा मुझे ना प्रोग्रामिंग सीखनी है. अब I have nobody who's a computer programmer in my family or the computer business. I know some operational computer. No, I said यार तू क्या करेगा? It's not for you. You do metallurgical, mechanical का standard manufacturing which I have been used to. अच्छा, we'll do the standard
Yes.
engineering. So you want to be an engineer? I'll make you an engineer. We'll go to a standard line. So either नहीं मुझे तो I want to do computer. Then I again same teacher आज भी सर अब तो हम इसको ना कंप्यूटर पढ़ाएंगे 11वीं में. So then I said, okay, I want to meet some career counselor.
Hmm.
Whether you are something there, I in Indore I met some gentlemen who actually did some. Now I am surprised they do studies on students also to find out their interests. And
Yes.
this guy actually came out with the recommendation. Ki, okay, this guy wants to be a computer kind of guy. Then from then onwards, I invested in a computer class for him. Okay, let him learn this, and he built on his interest and cleared the engineering exams. So there, 10th is the stage when I realized, कि, okay, he is to be coached and he should prepare well for computers. So there, but then the same gentleman said, sir, या तो स्कूल में 3 घंटे का एक्स्ट्रा क्लास दिलवाइए, बच्चे में पोटेंशियल है, और you ask him to go for some coaching. So we had support of coaching, but yes, computer we had to give him extra class for, and then he went on to pick up his career, and he joined TCS after college, left TCS, came out to study further. Well, then the goal orientation was there for him.
Exactly.
So
So
this,
it worked like that, for you, that from seventh standard only, when a teacher started pointing out that
yeah,
these are the good abilities of your child. So now, so it is then that when the child started building some interest, that okay, yes, the computers. Okay, when you say that in 10th standard, he yes said you that I want to do something in computers. So this is how you analyze, and then you consulted some career counselor, a professional for that. So this is
right.
how it got on for him. Yes, exactly. So this gets me to the youngest panelist that we have today. So Dhriti, tell us something about what are you doing currently and how happy are you with? I have a real good focus on how happy are you with it.
Thank you for the question. So currently, I'm pursuing BA Honors Journalism from Kamala Nehru College in Delhi University, and I'm very happy and satisfied with both my course as well as my college.
Oh, that's very, very good. I can see that happiness that you're very happy with the course and the college. So it's indeed a great choice of subject, I must say. It has a vast scope, and it's very good. So, Dhriti, you must agree on this that there is a general set of perception, as just now Shrishti also pointed out, that humanity is nowhere. Yes. So there is a perception that students who haven't scored really well or are not, so they are not fit for science or maths, they should take humanities in their higher secondary, despite you have scored such a good score in your 10th standard. You chose humanities, which does challenge the set societal perspective. So just tell us like a little that what drove you to choose something which changes the trend. So yes, obviously it does change the trend a lot, that students who are scoring such good scores in 10th standard are opting out for humanities. So just tell us what drove you towards that.
For this statement, even I've heard a lot of times, but I strongly disagree with the statement that students who don't score well will take humanities.
Exactly.
In fact, even in my batch, most of the students who scored well or got above 90%, including me, took humanities. Because humanities has a vast variety of subjects and options, but only those people who have the right amount of aptitude and interest can actually do that, because we have subjects like history and political science with so much syllabus, and if a person who does not have interest in it would not be able to crack the subject. Myself included, I was so driven towards subjects like mass communication, history, political science, that I wanted to pursue it, and I thought that this was something I could actually excel in rather than taking science or commerce.
Yeah, so because as she says that yes, she was really driven towards the subject, and whereas all students who they don't have such a a perspective or a drive towards the fact that yes, this is what we actually want. So they choose their subjects probably because of what their friends are taking, or because of the society, or probably because the parents' choice. So my next question is to you, Shrishti. So have you ever come across students or parents who come to you frustrated, because they were unable to cope with the subjects they took in 11th standard? So take for example, they have taken science, or they haven't been able to cope with it because yes, studying a particular subject needs certain kinds of abilities. So yes, have you come across any cases like that?
So, if I'm being completely honest, because I'm connected with the youth a lot, on social media, and I get to hear from a lot of variety of youngsters, their stories. And so many students reach out to me saying that I'm stuck with science, it's so much pressure, I'd rather I've even heard an extreme, like I'd rather kill myself than having to put up with this. And it's unfortunate how commonly how much the mental health is affected because of these issues of young students. And definitely we see parents and we see students a lot in the counseling practice. And it's, you know, nowadays, because there's so much awareness, some parents are actually going out of their way to support their children in their career choices. However, we also see a pattern of parents trying to you know, when sir went ahead and mentioned how his son chose his stream, it was amazing. I really admire it, because it's not like society said something. It's just that the individual himself exercised his free will to choose his career, and then that's why he's booming and flourishing and is probably happy, you know. So there are many parents who are trying to impose their notions on their children, and you know, like, or maybe protect the child from their own failures, or you know, try to apply their success formula which worked for them 20, 30, 40 years ago on their child. So we see a lot of these issues. We see them very, very commonly.
Yes, so yeah, as you told that parents actually do that, but yes, you also mentioned that there are students who, like Mr. Vineet told us that yes, there are students who know that what kind of subjects do they want, and so yes, that drives them towards selecting their stream. So my next question comes to Rashmi ma'am. Ma'am, it has been witnessed that students of class 11th, they shift, like after their class 10th, they have a frequent shift in their schools when it comes to opting for specific subjects, you know, they want for themselves, like which one school is not offering. So what according to you can be the reasons of them doing so? Like why do you think that they actually do that?
Now, look, I think there are only two reasons. One, though, Shrishti ma'am already mentioned that since my school is not giving me science, so I not move to some other school, because the pressure is there that the parent is insisting the child to go for science only. And the second reason is the students like Dhriti. Like, I have decided I want to go for humanities. No matter, my school is not having the stream, let it be. I'll opt for another school, but I'll pursue what I want to do. So I think that are the two basic reasons that the shifting after class 10th can be seen by us, by the students.
Exactly. Yes. So when we take a case that yes, like Dhriti, so she knew that because I want a particular thing, so she was very firm that yes, this is what I want, and this is what I will do if the subject would not have been offered by that particular school. Dhriti, you must have make a switch, like you know that okay, this is what I want. If I'm not getting it, I'll take this switch. Yes. So Dhriti, just tell us, recalling your school days, when did you decide for yourself like a particular career? Like when did you decide for yourself that yes, mass comm is the thing that drives you? And how did you do it? Like who all were the people involved in the process of your decision making? So I really, would request you to give us a very elaborative scene of your decision making process so that everyone can really hear that what actually did you do?
So when I was in class 9th, I saw my seniors getting very confused about which stream to select or which subjects in the stream to select. So I went home and I asked my mother about which stream offers what and what should I select, because I wasn't too clear about that at that time. So my mother wasn't very sure either, and she took me to a career counselor, just like EduWiki. And there they did a psychometric test on me. And the psychometric test's result were rather astounding. They correctly pointed out my aptitude and how I was good in certain things like creativity, and I am a creative person. They also rightly pointed out that I would excel in fields like mass communication, journalism, advertising, and I should follow those paths. Because of those things, when I came in class 10 and I had to select my subjects for 11, I opted for humanities itself, because I knew that I wanted to do these things. I should do these things. I should opt for mass communication, because that's the field where I want to go in the future as well. Even till date, my friends who are not clear about these subjects are still hopping on from one subject to another. But I had the blessing in disguise to go to a career counselor and get my test done.
Yes, so exactly. So you want to say that yes, going to a career counselor by which was a good decision taken out by your mother, that yes, she probably, see, every parent has some or the other kind of an information or something, that yes, these are the options available and this is all we can do. But yes, it's very good, a very smart decision taken by parents, that they take their children to career counselors or professionals who have a very vast knowledge of. So it comes down to the fact that it is their profession, so they do that. So coming to the next question, Shrishti, so what do you think is, what is the scientific way of knowing the aptitude of a child? When we say that yes, going to a career counselor, the career counselor can guide you, and bring out your interests and your aptitude, and he can tell you a career which is fit for that. So how do you actually do it? Like, what is the scientific way?
Okay, before I answer that, Aina, I would like to say, after hearing Dhriti, it kind of reminded me of my own 10th grade because my school was insisting that I go for science or commerce. I was like, no, humanities is for me, psychology is my subject. I'm not going to listen to anyone, I'm going to do what I want to do. And even then, there was such a discrimination between science students being superior, humanities students being nowhere in the picture. And now when I look at it, 8 years down, 7, 8 years down the road, I do see that those students who took science against their will, they don't know where they're going. And and as for me, my school still calls me and everyone still recognizes me, and they actually give me good feedback that, so Dhriti, thank you for making me nostalgic, and I'm really sorry for sharing that
No, no,
story.
it's perfectly fine.
So for the psychometric, okay, so you're answering your question. Psychometric tests are the way to do, career analysis, and these tests are basically scientifically, you take a target audience, not a target audience, a selected population, and you see the age group, you see the demographic, you see that, okay, this is my population size. I'm going to do this test on, let's say, 100 people, 200, 300, 400. Psychometric tests are built like that. They are, tested out on a huge population. And there is a lot of similarity between the demographics of the population. Let's say they'll be from a particular country, a particular geographical location, and then the test will be done on that population over and over and over again to ensure that the results are stable and consistent. So these tests are reliable and they are valid. So basically, there is a lot of scientific methodology that goes into developing these tests. They are very intricate. It takes a big team to develop these tests, and also they are based off on understanding the personality. And psychology has a huge knowledge of personality types, personality theories, and what is the weakness, what is the strength. So psychometric tests are the ways to do a sound aptitude analysis, I believe.
Yes. So when you tell us that yes, it is scientifically created by testing on a lot of students, that how these students actually respond to it, that how are the students being able to. So the next question comes down to say that do you think that a child who is, so as earlier that we talked about, that yes, a child who is 14 or 14 to 16, that is the best fit time for a child to start deciding or to start create or mapping a plan for himself, that what he is supposed to do. So do you think that a child who is 14 or 15 years old, or maybe 16 years old, or who is studying in, I guess, eighth, ninth standard, so are they ready? Are they ready to take up a psychometric test? Like, can their psychology go into and answer the questions by the psychology that the test has been created? Like, can they do that? Is it okay for them? Like, are they able to?
So these tests are developed on, the data that was extracted from the population of the same age group. So first of all, the test exists because that age group was the one where it was developed with, right? So yes, I think it can be done, and it is a good time to start thinking and making choices that will eventually lead you to like a more satisfactory life. So yes, it is very much possible.
Yeah, so exactly. So because generally, so it is a general perception that people think that, oh, it's a psychometric test. I don't know what kind of questions do we have in that, and the child is so young, and he's so people also believe that, they think that parents think that the child is not even able to perform nicely in the academic test which he's prepared for. How would he do a psychometric test? So these are general perception. People who have not people who don't know what a test is, they think about it, and they don't even consider to get psychometric test for them or a counseling for them. So yes, so this is what we are actually wanting to tell, that a psychometric test is built according to the age group of the children, and they can. So a student who is 14 or 15 or
नहीं है
16
अधिकार
is ready to take a psychometric test. Yes.
I'd
So
like to add something here. So basically, the generation that we're talking about is very smart. It has international exposure. It has a lot of abundant information available. They are way more self-aware than the previous generations were. I mean, I think the level of awareness is just increasing with time. So, the kind of self-awareness that we are witnessing in teenagers these days, it is really surprising. It is really amazing. And the generation that we are trying to, deal with, it is very self-aware. So, definitely, this is the right time to take up such issues and talk about them.
yes, exactly. So, Dhriti, I just have a question in the middle for you. That when you went to the counselor and you took a psychometric test, and you were in probably ninth standard, 15, 16 years of age. So, did you feel scared of the test, or did you like feel that, oh, what a test this is? How would I do it? And did you feel anything like that? So, I guess all the students who are looking at the webinar right now, for them, it is going to be a first hand experience for them, that okay, she is a student and how did she feel. Probably it motivates them to get a psychometric test done for themselves or a career counseling. So how did you feel like?
So when I went to the career counselor and they said that we have a test for you, I was like, okay, what is it? But when I was really nervous that, oh my God, what is it? How will I do it? But when I saw the test and I started doing it, I found it very easy, and I thought that, oh, this is something I can solve easily. And the
Exactly.
results themselves were so satisfying that the nervousness was nothing in front of it.
Yeah, that's very good, that after you take the test you find it that it was very easy and probably interesting too, that the type of questions that you have in that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Mr. Vineet, I have the next question for you. So as I told everyone that you are an engineer yourself, and you explain your own journey like that. So you being an engineer yourself, can you like tell us what was the process that you took for choosing your career, and how is it different from the process that children have to take these days? Like, you already told us a little about how the difference is, what the difference is, but can you just give us a little more elaborative thing on that, what is actually different, like what has changed over so much time?
See, so about me, those were the times, like I said, when the expectations were different from parents. They were looking at only numbers change. Now, today I see every student of 10th, most of them crossing 9.5ers and 10s. There are lots of A grades. Those are the time when 70% was a very big high score. It used to be, you will be among the district toppers if you had a score of 70% in your 10th or 12th. So expectation was you have to do engineering. So there's a test. उसके बाद आपको government job, you have to spend 2 3 4 years for those are the times, and you yourself was not aware, because MBBS used to be a tough thing. मतलब people will not think of, no parent will talk of कि बच्चे को they want to make doctor. Simple goal will be engineer or government job, और कहीं पे नहीं तो नहीं है तो बेटा तू plain अपना BCom BA करना, and you do service and do some business. Today, the kids are more aware. I've been listening to Dhriti and Ma'am's talk and Srishti's talk. Like my kids, they will discuss, younger one especially, he'll say, Papa, I want to be a guitarist. My time, you tell your father you want to play guitar, he'll say, I'll throw you out of home.
Right, sir. Agreed.
So when he was young, we
I
listened to
also.
him. He plays guitar also as a home. Then he said, I want to be, his drawing was good, so he said, I want to be a sketchist, I'll write comics. He used to be young and we'll say, Acha bhi. And then subsequently, the psychometry came out is another aspect. He is sensitive, he is good in certain subjects. So he can take up either of the sciences, both the sciences. Now that put me in dilemma. So the poor kid had to study maths also till 12th. Because now sometimes the results are, they're pointing to both. Okay, he'll be a good animation kind of graphics engineer. Now the study is pointing out he'll be a good graphics engineer. he'll be a good doctor kind of, or microbiologist kind of person. Now you are confused. So science helps you to a certain extent, then you have to leave it to the kid. So times but he was aware. So he will come up with thoughts. Can I pursue a career as a guitarist? He was a kid. I said, yeah, abhi sixth, seventh mein hai, let him. But then, yes, speaking to school kids, school teachers, it gave you confidence which direction he is hoping. And this test done for him definitely. Finally, in 11, the results were he'll be doing anything on them. By 11th, he had made up his mind. Yes, I want to be a doctor. And then he studied hard and cleared the exams. So times are definitely very dynamic now. Mine is a static time. There are three goals: engineer, government service, or do any business or job. Nothing else. डॉक्टर बनने की सोचते नहीं थे. It used to be for the cream कि वही अपना भेजेंगे. Now everybody can aspire. People can work hard and aspire to rise to the achievements. So this is how I am a strong supporter of psychometry and student help from 9th, 10th onwards.
That's very good, sir. Very nice to hear that. So, ma'am, Rashmi ma'am, can you just tell us a little that when you used to study, like when you were in your 11, 12 standards, and students these days, like, what kind of a difference do you notice in the attitudes and the perspectives of the children? That what is actually the difference? Like what on the basis, on perspectives of planning for their children, for their own careers. What kind of a difference, like, do you see? Like, what was the difference, and how is it now?
Same, I would agree with sir. The way he's saying, at the time when I was in school or I was studying, options were pretty limited. If you have taken commerce, you are going for an MBA, a BBA like that. If you have taken up science, you are going to be an engineer. With maths, with bio, obviously you have to become a doctor. Isliye you are pursuing that. And arts was obviously a subject not to be talked about, because arts to वही पढ़ते हैं, those who don't score well. Was that kind of a thing was there even at my time, but nowadays no. Students are pretty aware. They are aware. It's good to hear they're aware about the careers like journalism, mass communication, even fashion designing. I would like to say for that matter. And now it's not a career to be ashamed of. Oh God, you're going to become a darzi. No, it is not like that. Fashion designing in itself is having so many arenas nowadays, and you really have to work hard. And being a teacher, I believe that whatever you are opting for, if you are good at it, you enjoy doing it, then only you are going to be successful at that point. Means it's no point taking up a PCB and then struggling with it and then crying after 6 months that, oh, bhai, I'll quit it, or I'll commit suicide, but I cannot go on like that. Because maybe the child scored 98%. I've just come across a child of last year only. That girl was brilliant, scored a 98, I think, in class 10, took science. She went into science classes for 3 months. And then she was like, "Nee, I cannot do this." And why did she take it? Just because parents were interested that no, 98% scorer, surely you are going to become a doctor or something like that. And matlab, it's really amazing. I would like to share that from science, she straight away shifted to humanities, not even opted for commerce. And she is going to give her class 12 exams now. She's pretty happy, and I do believe she'll do something great in life.
She definitely would. Yes, we agree. Because now that she has taken a subject which actually matches her interest, obviously her full potential would come out, in giving exams and in opting for whatever career. So, as ma'am just told that, students who are not really clear take science only because of, the on the basis of what score they have got, and also on what the parents want for them.
Right.
So Triti, so you also mentioned that you still have some friends who are hopping from one subject to other and they're not very happy. So do you have any friends, like whom, very close friends, or whom you really know, why is it happening for them, like, or friends who, what are they doing who haven't taken any kind of a professional help? Like, you took a professional help, so it was obviously helpful for you, that it helped you get a direction, a good road towards your success or a career. So what is happening with the friends of yours who haven't taken or gone for any professional help?
So my friends are really kind of hopping around and they don't know what to do. Some of them did realize in 12th itself that no, science is not right for me and now I need to shift. So they had to repeat a year in order to go to whatever stream they wanted to, mostly shifted to humanities. But some of them still haven't, decided what to go for. And earlier they took science that we will do PCB and we'll clear NEET and whatever, but they weren't able to do that. Neither were they able to score well in their boards, nor were they able to clear NEET because that wasn't their aptitude. So now either they're repeating their years or they are shifting to streams or they're taking other subjects wherever they can get to, whatever private colleges they can go to. Some of them have now shifted to history or political science because now they realize that no, history was something that actually interests me and not biology. But the thing is, they do not know the basic concepts, so they're kind of struggling about what to do now, how to do it.
So all of these friends that you're telling about, was parental pressure somewhere or the other a factor in choosing the subject for them?
Yes, definitely. There were a lot of kids who felt that, oh, my parents want me to take science, so I will take science. They feel that I've got good marks and I should take science. And that's why they took science. And now they feel that, no, I shouldn't have.
Yes, exactly. So when you tell us something like that, so because Dhriti is also telling us that yes, she has friends, that parents pressured them for taking a particular thing or a particular subject, that you have to take it. This is what gets you more, this is what gets you a better, a position in the society as a profession. Like take for example, we people think that okay, you are an engineer, it is a very desirable profession that a student should have, like taking science. They very proudly present to you that yes, this is my child who is doing science or who's PCM or he's in IITs and something like that, and they don't really push their children's interests. They don't really look at it. So Mr. Vineet, I have a next question to you, that when people tell us that that parents have pushed the child a lot, and whereas teachers and the media and the teachers and the people, all of us tell us that you need to motivate your child. So it's very important that you create a balance between pressurizing the child or motivating. So sometimes motivation can become a pressure, so how do you strike a nice balance between the two, like either motivating them or pressurizing them?
So see, now are not the time to pressurize the kids. Let me be honest. So if you
Yes.
think you can pressurize your kid and get away with it, it will not happen, because my elder one day before the exam, he will be sleeping off and he'll wonder, what is happening? And it will be me and my wife will be awake all night. Yeah, 12th K exam, and this guy is just So the times are different, but yes, definitely you have different kids. Different kids take to exams in different way. Fortunately, both my kids, they are not last minute preparators, so they've been scheduling their subjects and studying, so that I have never seen them studying at the last minute. Okay, okay, tonight is the night when you have to be awake for 24 hours and complete the thing. Secondly, like the younger one, he had his hobbies. I always encourage them to pursue their hobbies. Both regularly played basketball. Younger one he's a guitarist also. Then whenever once a month or twice, they'll say, Papa, we are going out for some pastry break. Kids have their own hangout places where they play video games. And so I never discourage them. Okay, you want to go, I'll drop you. If you want, I'll pick you up. So you have to, gel with the expectation. It's not only studies all the time. So sometimes as parent, while it will be pushing at the back of my head, yeah, the exams are 1 month away, but then still you have to get the kid, give him the freedom. Okay, he is
Exactly.
not in the mood to study. So these are very tough times as a parent, when you are counting every hour and the boy says, Papa, today we all are going to watch a movie. But the times have changed. This was not so in my time, but now kids know how to balance their time. And they even now, the younger one who's got an exam on Monday, today he told me, Papa, now we have a break, we'll be going out today morning. The kids have seen a movie and they have an exam on Monday. These are, I'm talking of MBBS students. but then they have learned how to balance their time. So kids are very good at balancing the time, and they do it
Exactly.
nicely.
Yes, so as we know that times have changed, so has the competition changed, I guess. Yes, the competition is huge, huge now. So, Shrishti, can you for the audience, students, audience that we have, can you give us a little message that how can they cope with the competition? So looking at the competition, sometimes students take a lot of maybe unnecessary mental pressure too. That. Yes, they need to believe in their own selves, that how whatever they have planned for themselves or is happening or their interest. So can you just give us a small message as to what can they do to keep themselves focused, and so that the competition can be a good thing for them and not drive them negatively.
Okay. Aina, if you were to ask me, I was just trying to sum up my thoughts for this section because, okay, to be honest, I get to meet people who are teenagers, who are preteens, who are in their mid 30s, who are in 40s, 50s. So I've seen people through various career phases of their career. So if you right now, if you're going to take decisions under pressure, you will keep up with it till in your 20s and maximum till your early 30s. But then you're going to burn out and implode so badly, it's going to take down all your relationships with you, and you'll also resent your parents. So keep this in mind because I've seen this a lot. I know people who are in the top corporates with a great package, and they're not happy. They're so, they're very dissatisfied with their lives. I've also met someone who made an eccentric career choice, struggled throughout their 20s, early 30s, but now they are doing fantastic. And even when there are ups and downs, they're like, I'm happy I got this. So right now, whatever you think that matters to you the most, a couple of years down the road, it's not going to have the same amount of power over you. Ultimately, you have to live with your own self. And I think the most important competition is challenging your own limits. Like, for example, procrastination is an issue, right? We all face it. Ki aaj nahi karenge, kal karenge. An example. So sir said that his children are disciplined, fantastic. But, I've seen most students dealing with procrastination issues. So, you have a downside to your personality. It's a difficult trait. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't have the emotional state to sit down right now and study. Your syllabus is piling up. So compete with your own self. Question yourself each year and reflect that, am I becoming a better version of myself or not? Ultimately, if you're on that competition, you are going to land up in a place that you can't even imagine eventually. But if you're going to keep competing with the people in your immediate environment, first of all, everyone is in a different lane altogether. वो भी नहीं दिख रहा. You're in school, so सब एक platform पे दिखते हैं. You're in college, सब same platform पे दिखते हैं. But in life, you're all on very different journeys. And ultimately, the only competition that is going to stay with you and improve you is one with your own flaws, with your own self, and constantly strive to improve yourself. And wherever you feel stuck, wherever you feel like, okay, I'm not able to manage, I'm not able to handle, please have a strong support system in your life. Have those good friends who talk to you about it. Develop that kind of a relationship with your parents. I understand that teenagers find it harder to communicate with parents, but if not parents, then maybe an elder in the family, or just people you look up to, you trust, and always feel free to talk about things, and always work on improving your own self. So that is how I'd like to conclude.
Yes, so exactly. So yes, this is very, very true that yes, the only competition that you're actually left with at the end is you yourself. So you need to push your comfort boundaries and come out and challenge your own self. That because growth is different for different people. Different people grow in a different manner. Like probably growth is really quick for some people. Some people take time. So you are your own unique self. So you need to give yourself some time, and it's just good that yes, you have grown something from the last year, then it's good. You should not think that if the other child has achieved a certain amount of growth in his own self, that I am also subjected to grow that much. No, you're unique to your own self. So Dhriti, we'd really appreciate if you share some of your future plans with us, like what have you decided on to do after your graduation, or like maybe so after graduation people there are people who choose to go for higher education, or maybe start working with other people, or interning with other people, interning with some companies, just to have a handhold of what the profession actually is. So have you decided on that yet, or like what are your plans?
So I'll definitely go for higher education after my graduation, but I'm not really sure about my specialization, and I'm considering taking revisiting my career counselor to know which specialization is good, because journalism itself is a vast topic. It has PR, advertising, and I want to know my specialization because I want to pursue the right specialization and excel in the field. So
Yeah. Okay, so you're considering to go again to a professional help to know the best out of you, and what would be a very good thing for you, that so that you don't have to think that, oh no, this is probably not what is actually fit for me, or you just want a professional help on that. That's a great decision. I guess that will really help you, as it helped you in choosing your own subjects and everything. Yes. So, ma'am, Rashmi, ma'am, can you just give us with a message to for all the students and their parents especially, that how are they supposed to handle the decision making years of their own children, and also for the students, what should they do, like what are the important tips for them, that yes, they actually need to follow these things.
Aina, as far as parents are considered, I would like to say that, as Sir said, that it's not easy nowadays to push your child or to pressurize your child. Huh, that's right, I agree with that. And I believe that parents, instead of becoming parents, try becoming friends. I think that would be a better scenario. Be a friend, discuss, don't dictate that you want them to do this. Just discuss with them what do they want in life, yeah, what have they thought about it. Because if you pose yourself as a parent in front of them, maybe they are not willing to tell you, they are more comfortable with their friends, or maybe they have this thought कि ये कहूँगा तो papa will say, oh god, my god, you're going to do this, matlab what will you do? So that shouldn't be there. And parents, I think they should, now is the time they realize that their kids are more important than the society. Kids are not something to be shown off to the society, that yes, my kid is doing engineering or mine is doing this. Kids are pretty valuable, and whatever they do in life, they should excel at that, whatever they are doing. And as far as the students are concerned, nowadays, so already the scenario has changed. They are smarter. They know. They are pretty much like have a thought that I want to do this. Only thing what I feel is that becoming a little serious a little early. Rather, I would ask later. I had a question for Shrishti ma'am also regarding this, because when they are in 9th and 10th, I think then gradually they should start even seeing themselves that where they see themselves going from here in standard 9th and 10th. At times what happens now, what I feel that in class 9, students are not pretty serious enough. Like, I don't know, maybe because our education system is also such, there are more after grabbing the grades. They are more grade oriented, not knowledge grasping, and that kind of orientation is not there. I need to score by more than 95 because that is the only thing which is considered good. So I think 9th and 10th, they are gradually they should start becoming serious about that. That grade is not important. Eventually, what they want to do in class 11. And being a teacher, I myself feel even at school level, these counseling sort of thing must be there in each and every school. Counseling cell, a counselor, it is something which is very much needed in today's scenario, so that the child feels free, can go to the counselor and have a word with the counselor that, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Yeah, am I right? At times, maybe the child is right. That little confirmation is required. That, yeah, you are going to the right path. That, yes, you are doing it right. Because you yourself, maybe the child is so confused that he is not able to come up with himself, "Ki, how will I put this in front of my parents? And what if they'll deny?" For example, we were talking, so much of discussion on humanities is going on. The reason is that only that taboo connected to it. Ages ago, arts, oh god, arts is taken by students who don't score dear. 70% wale arts lete hain. So it is not like that. The times have changed. Arts is a vast matlab thing. Even I think IAS and IPS, they go out from that stream only. It is only how to work about it. It is only about that. So I think students should be a little considerate at that time. Discuss with the parents, with the teachers. A counselor is must, I think, in a school, so that the student is comfortable going to the counselor and talking. And parents, yes, you support your child in whatever he wants to do.
Exactly, yes. So very rightly said that even if a child has something chosen for himself, a confirmation or a scientific, perspective into a scientific side to that is very important, because if a child decides on something, it's very important that yes, a conformity is given to him that yes, this is very good, so that it motivates him more towards
Right.
doing something, so
He
that
feels he's going in the right direction.
exactly. So he needs to feel that yes, the direction is right. So, ma'am, you had some kind of a question for Srishti, right?
I just like the Shrishi ma'am was saying that ninth and 10th is the right age kind of for the test. I just wanted to know that even can we have it for class 7th and 8th students? Because in today's scenario, I'm like parents around me, we have seen students of ninth and 10th are being into, they're going for FITZY, they're going for Akash classes. Oh my God. So before putting the child into that, I feel that I think before that, something should be in my hand. Because I feel, suppose my own kid, he's in class 8. Now, driven by the force, okay, I agree, he is good at maths. The teacher says he's doing fine. So, but then at times I feel that will it be fine if I send him for that FITZY class or Akash class, or is it too much of pressure? Or is it just too much of pressure on the child?
Yes, exactly.
I feel that on these topics, I think okay, I wouldn't say ki, in seventh grade itself we should start pressurizing the child, but I do feel that we really need to give exposure to the children. Like for example, like if I were to see an example in my own family, like my father always used to keep some million books in my side growing up. Always, like there are always books in my house. If you can see, there are also books here.
Right.
So in my house, there'll always be books. So even though he never had the time to sit down and make me read, but one day I just picked up and started reading and developed that habit. So it's about providing that environment of what you want the child to be eventually. And also I feel that a lot more there are internships that are coming up for school students as well, or allowing the child to interact with professionals of different backgrounds. See, like for example, in school they used to send us to planetariums, so there we used to go and see the stars, and then we used to be like, oh, we want to go into astronomy, and so that kind of exposure where the child is getting to see the professional on field. You see an engineer on field, you see a doctor on field, you see a marine biologist on field. So giving them that ample exposure, that see the world is vast, the careers are vast, and getting to interact with these people, and allowing them sources of stimulation where they can themselves form their perspectives on things. That broad exposure, I think that should be started. The younger the better for the exposure. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
yes, let it be about deciding their careers, or so yes, that is very rightly said, Srishti, that it's very important to give them an environment of or an exposure towards all that is available. Yes, so that is really, really, really very important. So to sum up everything, like we come up, like Ms. Rashmi ma'am said, Srishti said, Shriti said, and Vineet sir said. So yes, to sum up with everything, yes, we can say that while choosing streams and subjects, students have to be very, very careful, as a wrong set of subjects can close many, many possible doors for a student. Like taking for example, if a child thinks in 10th standard that no, I cannot do maths, and he takes up commerce without maths, so he does closes for himself a few options, that yeah, that maybe for himself that he closes economic honors because that requires maths, then BCom honors he that requires maths. So yes, at that point of stage, we really believe that if a child before selecting a particular stream or subjects for himself, it is very important that he takes on some professional help so that he can really plan that what are the requisites of getting into my graduation, and what all are the subjects that I need to achieve a proper career, and to decide what subjects are there to be in my 11th and 12th standard. It's very important that he considers some professional help. So the process of matching skills and the abilities with appropriate subjects, it's very important important that the matching skills and the abilities, they are matched out with appropriate subjects that the child is taking, and because that leads to a very desirable career, that is, and altogether all these three four things, that is a very intricate business, that very tangled with each other, that the interest leads to the subject, and then the subject leads to a career, then it leads to the happiness or satisfaction a child has in his life. So with evolving government policies, because now the NEP has also come, and some of the other policies keep on changing, it is so difficult for the parents to be updated, who are otherwise very engrossed in their everyday life, because they have their own lives to be taken care of. So to keep a person updated with all that keeps changing, so we at EduWiki here have really trained professionals and counselors who work round the clock to see what is happening in the world of education, and we can also, and we keep the parents and the children updated as to what is happening in the field of education. So on that note, I would really like to thank all of you to connect to us, and the panelists, Ms. Rashmi, Shrishti, Thriti, and Mr. Vinay, thank you so much. We had a lovely time hearing you, and it was super informative for all the audience who were hearing, who connected to us. And we really look forward to see you in the next webinar, because we here at EduWiki have a series of webinars that we do every fortnight, and we'll keep you all updated for that. And thank you so much for connecting with us. Thank you so much. Good evening, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello.